Here she comes.
Oh, that was a great bath, I tell you.
Right.
Huh? Oh, tell you what, that gravelly stuff you got was great for exfoliating the skin. Oh, I'm all invigorated.
You scuttering gobsheen. That's Pox's cat litter.
Huh?
It needed changing.
Oh, Jesus. I thought it was some sort of sand and seaweed concoction. Podge, if you don't mind me saying, when's the last time you had a bath?
Baths are for ponces and lady men. They're just an excuse for playing with yourself.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, all that warm water slushing around your gels, a bar of imperial leather between your cheeks. Oh, I must clean down there, you pervo. Then you get out and buff yourself down with a towel, puff yourself up with talc, and the next thing you know, you're giving yourself a pubic trim.
Oh, I'm going back in.
Stop right there, Rodrigo Leprosy.
Huh?
Or that bath might become your coffin.
Huh? What are you scuttering on about?
Let me tell you the tale of Endemy Shank, a medical student from Big Arse Ladies, Lima, Peru. He came to study in Dublin. It was his final year in genetic science, and by all accounts, he was a bit of a genius. The trouble was his classes were beginning to bore him. The rest of his class were too slow for Enda, so he decided to do some extra experiments of his own back at his flat.
Come here. Did he experiment on his own geneticals, or did he experiment with some ladies?
Genetics is the study of the very fabric of nature, not your fiddly bits.
Huh? Did he do the old human ear on a mouse one?
That was old hat to Enda. Sure, he'd grown a nose on an owl, a foot on a dog, and his best ever was a lad on a lettuce.
Now that's progress. But, hardly ethical, Podge.
Ethics me arse, Rodge. In Enda's eyes, he was the new creator. Enda reckoned within 5 years he could grow a whole human body from scratch.
Jesus. Did he ever show anyone his lettuce lad?
God, no. You'd be locked up for abusing the strict genetic codes of conduct. In fact, Enda was very careful to dispose of any evidence. Then one day, his meddling ways caught up on him. He was sitting on the bog reading New Scientist when he heard a scraping. Bloody rats! I must call the landlady, he shouted. He followed the scraping across the bath and looked down the plug hole. And what he saw shocked the life out of him. It was a large eye.
From his experiments?
Yep. Problem was, it winked at him.
Jesus.
There was something very alive in Enda's pipes. And then it spoke.
Spoke?
Yep.
Hello, Enda. I've been listening to you for months now. I thought it was time you met your creation.
Enda was stunned as a bony digit crept through the plug hole.
Ooh.
Over the next few weeks, Enda engaged the company of the pipe creature. Oddly enough, they supported the same football team. Everything was fine up until Enda met the girl of his dreams.
But how would he explain the abomination in the bath?
Enda had a plan. That very evening, he told the creature that there was a good film on the TV at 8 o'clock.
I'll be here,
said the creature. Anyway, as the film began and the eye was looking out the plug hole, Enda emptied a full bottle of sulfuric acid on top of the eye. It said.
The ruthless bastard. Why did he do that? I thought they were getting on great.
Well, the bathroom was a bit tight for 3 to shave.
3?
Yeah, Enda's new girlfriend was moving in that very evening. And he couldn't have an abomination living in the pipes with a young lady in various states of undress.
Oh, I suppose not. Oh.
As he was setting the table for a romantic meal to welcome his girlfriend to her new home, he heard an almighty crash coming from the bathroom. I thought I'd kill that foul fiend, he shouted as he ran into the bathroom with more acid. only to be confronted with a massive hole where the plug hole used to be.
Oh, Jesus.
Then, Enda felt the cold steel of a 3-foot shower rail through his heart. Then there was a ring at the doorbell. It was Enda's girlfriend with her suitcases by her side.
Please do come in, Mary,
Said a voice as she entered the darkened hallway. Why are all the lights out, Enda? Said the girl.
It's your moving in surprise, baby.
And she screamed as a hideously deformed Enda lunged at her.
Oh. But wait, wasn't Enda in the bathroom with a pole through his chest?
Oh, he was. What she saw was the creature from the pipes that just happened to be a genetically mutated Enda, made up from the soup of his experimental concoctions and the DNA from the cells of skin that he had shed during 3 years of baths. Unknown to Enda, he had advanced genetic engineering forward a decade, but that didn't matter as he lay skewered to his girlfriend on the bathroom floor.
But, what about the monster?
They never found it. It makes you wonder when the pipes start creaking.
I tell you what, I don't want some lad stuck in my waste pipe.
I think you might want to rephrase that, Rodge.
Huh? Oh.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Oh, Jesus. I'm off out.
Hey, where are you going?
Huh? I'm going off to meet a prostitute.
What have I told you about hooers?
Ah, I don't care. I was talking to her on the phone, right?
Oh, were you?
She says I can meet her every Monday night.
But hooers cost a fortune. Apparently.
Well, I got mine for a flat fee of £52 for 14 weeks.
Well, that's a bit pricey. Must be high class. Must have all her own teeth.
Yeah. For that money, I reckon I'll be able to take me trousers the whole way off.
So, where are you meeting this goose?
Oh, down the night classes.
Oh. They're doing night classes in it.
Yeah. This one says she teaches prostitutes. She must be good.
Hold on. She didn't say she was a substitute teacher.
Oh, that's what she said, right enough. What do they do?
You feckless gobsheen. You and your female infatuations. Illicit relationships will only end you up in hot water. Surely you've heard the tale of the Backdoor Man.
No. Tell us more.
Yeah. The new housing development of Go Down on Me Crescent had just been completed, and all the new neighbours began moving in. One of the first were Flush and Nuala Lavatory.
Decorating, love. Not with me bleeding back. She'll know I'm happier with the remote control than a paintbrush.
Flush would say. After a couple of weeks, Nuala had most of the decorating done. It was only then that the lavatory's new neighbours arrived on the estate.
Let's go round and say hello to our new neighbours.
Nuala said. Flush wasn't so keen.
Feck the neighbours. Once they don't have any dogs dumping on me garden, or children for that matter, we'll get on grand.
He said.
So, he wasn't a very social animal then.
No, not really, no. Well, not until he first clasped eyes on his new neighbour, Sheila Feelit. She was a bit of all right.
Jesus, we can certainly give her a hand.
He thought to himself.
Come here. Was she sex on legs, was she?
Oh, yeah. She had the full 4 courses with tea or coffee and a complimentary mint.
Was she 6.5 on the old Richter scale?
Absolutely. And Flush had a sudden change of heart.
I'm feeling fierce neighbourly,
he said to Nuala.
Let's meet these new neighbours.
So they invited themselves in next door.
Right.
He couldn't keep his eyes off the neighbour's wife, and she didn't seem to mind. During the small talk, it became pleasantly apparent to Flush that his wife Nuala and Finbar Feelit, next door's husband, both worked Saturdays, leaving bored housewife Sheila and randy neighbour Flush to their own devices.
Oh, I see, Would Flush be round to mow Sheila's lawn, huh? Plant some seeds, huh? Blender his hose, huh?
Yes, indeed. As soon as Nuala and Finbar left for work on Saturday morning, Flush was around there like a hot snot. Neither spouses suspected a thing. It was the perfect dangerous liaison. Then one Saturday evening that summer, by coincidence, Finbar and Nuala were both getting a half day from their Saturday work. Nuala suggested inviting the next-door neighbours around for an impromptu barbecue. Nuala went in to get some jacket potatoes and returned with a shotgun.
Shotgun?
Yep.
Did she know about the husband and your one?
She did, and she was very upset. She said, "You bitch!" and blew Sheila away. Then she turned her gun on the horny husband, but Finbar intervened. There was a struggle, and Nuala let off a second round, killing poor Finbar. Then, lucky for Flush, she broke down crying.
Jesus, you stupid cow! You've killed the bleeding neighbours! What's the Residents' Association going to say?
Flush shouted at her as he grabbed the empty gun off her. He left his wife a sobbing wreck.
Don't worry, love, I'll explain it to the cops. We'll take it from there,
he said. He left her and ran to the cop shop.
My wife's gone bleeding mental and killed the neighbours.
The cops arrived at the scene to discover only one body. Sheila's.
One body? Gee, what's going on?
Well, that's what Flush was trying to figure out. All that was left was one body, a gun with only his fingerprints all over it, and his blood-sodden T-shirt. Then his neighbour Finbar and his wife Nuala arrived in wearing their work clothes, neither claiming to have any idea what was going on.
Jesus!
One bullet, one blank, Rodge. The judge gave him life imprisonment.
But he was set up.
Yeah, and poor old Flush had never thought that his wife and his neighbour would fall in love and plan the perfect murder.
Jesus, that's some sting, huh?
Yeah. Trouble is, Rodge, some people never learn. Flush Lavatory is still a backdoor man.
But how? You couldn't get it. You said he got life imprisonment.
I know he did.
Oh, backdoor man, huh? In the prison, huh?
Stop. It doesn't bear
stop
thinking about.
Oh, no, not at all.
They say you're never lonely in prison.
Oh, Jesus, not at all. Not unless you were very stuck.
Huh? Where is he? Rodge!
How are you?
Is the Jacks free now?
Oh, it is, yeah, but... Jesus, I'd give it 20 minutes at least. I've a fierce dose of the rat.
What's that in your hand?
Oh, nothing.
Huh?
Nothing.
Show us. Come on.
Oh, right.
Oh, Jesus, what the hell are you doing? You're turning into a lady man.
No, I'm not.
Oh.
I was just seeing what it was like to...
Have you a date with Pamela Henderson? You dirty pervo.
No, actually, I just wanted to see if it'd be any different with the lady's touch.
Oh, you're a sad, sad little man. You'll end up blind if you keep fiddling with yourself.
That's a myth.
Oh, a myth is it? Try telling that too. Frankie O'Friction.
What? The computer salesman fella from PCs or Us?
Yeah, poor old Frankie. Had a problem a bit like yourself. He was very fond of spanking the monkey.
You mean the old sausage bungee, huh?
Yeah.
You mean popping the pink lizard, huh?
Yeah.
Pummeling the pudding.
Shut up,
You
you
mean
thankless rogue. He used to get awful bored travelling the country, staying in different hotels every night. Oh, it was awful lonely on the road. That was until he found the joys of the internet. In fact, after a couple of weeks, he couldn't wait to log on in his room to a saucy site.
Oh, like what? Like what?
Oh, there's millions of them on the net. Millions of them. There's www.flesh.com, www.cum.com, www.enormoboob.com, www.wetandwild.com.
Come here. Do they have a www.livefrogsupmearse.com, huh?
Anyway, whatever tickled his fancy, he tickled his fancy, if you know what I mean.
Right.
He spent hours fiddling with himself in front of the screen. When hours turned into days, his sales work began to suffer.
He was becoming addicted.
Yep. But more of a concern to Frankie was his eyesight began to deteriorate from viewing the screen constantly and all that, straining.
Was he turning Japanese?
I suppose he was. He could barely make out any detail on the screen by the time he dragged himself out of the room and down to the opticians.
Opticians? Spunk savers.
Shut up! Anyway, he arrived back to his room ready for some hot porno action. The trouble was the glasses turned out to be a hindrance as he was logging on.
Oh.
You see, not only did they slip down his nose with the vibrations, the steaming up of the lenses obscured his view of the screen. In fact, it was an all-round disaster.
Oh.
Then he had a brainwave.
Room service.
No, contact lenses.
Did they work?
Brilliantly. He whacked away at himself 24 hours a day for a whole week before he collapsed exhausted on his keyboard. He slept for almost 48 hours straight. He would have slept longer if it weren't for the excruciating pain that seared through his eye sockets. He opened his eyes, but was greeted with darkness and pain.
Jesus, what happened to him?
Well, he fell asleep over his computer, still plugged in, and the sheer heat generated by the overused and overpowered equipment had melted the plastic of the contact lenses into his cornea, blinding him for life.
Jesus. www.tragiwank.com.
Yeah.
I tell you, that's put me right off.
Right.
I'm going straight to sleep.
Right.
Oh.
Off to sleep, you're going.
Yeah.
So you won't be using that left hand?
What? Feck off.
Go on, I only want it for a minute.
What, you're going to do it twice?
Huh?
Feck off.
Come on.
Get off me, will you? What are you
Give me
doing?
one of it.
Feck off.
Well, give me-
Get off, will you? Get off me, will you? Away.
on.
Get off.
How you doing?
How are you? How'd you get on?
Grand. I got a hole in one.
And the golf?
Shut up, you gobsheen. Make me some tea.
I can't. Oh, I broke 6 ribs in the clash. Oh, confined to bed I am. Tell you what, though, I was thinking of taking up golf like yourself. Bit more sedate. And a way of climbing the social ladder.
Right.
Tell you what, put my name down for membership, will you?
No. You've got to understand, Rodge, we can't have scum like you in our golf club. And besides, you're wrong. Golf was one of the most dangerous sports ever. More people have died on golf courses in Ireland than in the whole of the famine.
What are you scuttering on about?
Have you not heard of the tale of Glen Gobble Golf Course? There was a property developer called Jimmy Eastwood. They called him Clint because he was a bit of a cowboy. Oh, he used every trick in the book to acquire plots and property, with the brown envelopes being dropped off left, right and centre, and all kinds of skullduggery.
Like what?
Well, one of his favourites was reading the obituaries, then landing on the widows the morning of the funeral.
This place is too big to manage on your own, love. I've someone interested in buying.
Of course he was the buyer, and got the place for a steal.
Ruthless bastard.
So one day on his travels, he happened upon a large field at the base of Hairy Mound Mountain. And he was hit by his best ever idea.
The perfect golf course.
He immediately made inquiries and found out that Patch Keogh owned the land.
I'm here to buy your land, Farmer Keogh.
Clint said. It's not for sale, replied Patch.
Everything's got a price, Mr. Keogh,
said Clint as he opened a case full of money. I'll never sell it! It's not for sale! He shouted after Clint.
So he wasn't going to sell it, so?
No.
Right.
But Clint never took no for an answer and went straight to the county council offices with the same briefcase. He soon returned to Patch's cottage.
A compulsory purchase order is what I have here, Mr. Keogh. Get any livestock or belongings off the land by tomorrow evening,
said Clint. I've nothing in that there field, replied a defeated Patch.
Good. The county council have given me the authority to put a road through that field.
A road to where? Asked Patch.
A road to the clubhouse of the Glen Gobble Golf Course. I'd invite you to the opening, but I don't think you'd fit in.
Laughed Clint like a cat who'd got the cream. But that field's not up. Oh! Patch went blue in the face and dropped dead before he could finish his sentence.
Jeez.
6 months passed and the golf course was nearly completed. Clint had invested millions. He even had the course designed by a famous golf pro.
Jack Nicholas.
No.
The Spanish fella, Severio Bollock Steroids.
No.
Prickfaldo.
No.
Todger Woods.
No. No, you shut up, you feckless gobsheen. It was Willie Stroker, winner of the Masters.
You could say he was a master beater.
I'll ignore that one on grounds that you're slow. Anyway, Willie and a number of other international golf pros arrived over with a lot of to-do to play the inaugural round with Clint. It was a splendid round by all accounts. Clint was scoring surprisingly well. That was until the first of the pros dropped dead in the bunker.
For the love of Sister Mary Bernadette and the 7 shaven-headed lepers, what's going on?
Shortly followed by another in the rough, 500 yards down the fairway on the 9th. But Clint didn't care. He was determined to finish his round. And even when Willie Stroker had a seizure on the 18th tee, it didn't put Clint off his shot. When he got to the green, he was feeling dizzy. And unfortunately, he collapsed and impaled himself on his putter before he could complete the round.
Podge, what the feck is going on?
Well, what Clint didn't know was that Patch Keogh's field was an ancient Ebola grave.
An Ebola grave?
Where hundreds of people were buried in a mass grave site during the 1720 outbreak. Patch didn't want to sell the land on, as he knew its dangerous secret. and the feckless golfers, by licking the balls and putting the tees in the ground and then in their mouths, ingested the deadly virus, having awoken it from its grassy tomb.
So they died from licking their balls.
Yeah.
What a way to go.
That's right. So you won't be joining the golf club then?
I'm still quite keen on the golfing life, though.
Right, so
What? What's that joke?
it's for the initiation ceremony.
Huh?
Put this on your forehead. There you
Get
go.
off. What are you doing? Huh? What? What is that? What is it?
Right, stand still now.
Huh? Ha! You missed!
Hole in one.
Bugs, did you see rat? You must think like the rat. You were a killer. You were a killer. Stay. Good cat. Good cat.
How are
Good. How are you? Good cat. Stay.
Coming
Stay.
through.
Huh? No, go round. Oh, me nads.
Move over, come on. What are you doing?
I'm training Pox.
You can't train a cat.
I am. I'm training him by example.
So that's how he learned to lick his arse, is it?
Very funny. That took ages, that did.
Anyway, you should know better than to be giving pets your time. Next you'll know it, they'll be taking over your life. Like Mad Dog Maguire.
Never heard of him.
He was an infamous bollocks and ex-gangland thug, you know. In fact, for 20 years, he was the fishmonger's right-hand man.
Fishmonger.
Yeah.
He used to gut his victims.
Yeah, from gill to gullet. But once the fishmonger was eventually hooked by the authorities... hooked? Never mind. Mad Dog decided to get quiet. So he bought a house with what was left of his spoils, and he and his beloved dogs moved in. They were vicious, untamed beasts that he shared his house with, and it wasn't long before the neighbours started complaining. Head of the Residents Association was a man called Pascal Wrench. He called to Mad Dog's house to put in an official complaint about the incessant barking and filthy condition of his house. Hello, Mr. Mad Dog. I'm from the Residents Association. I was wondering if you wouldn't mind... Mad Dog looked down at him and said...
Take this to your Residents Association.
Oh. Did the neighbours not call the guards, though?
The guards were dying to get him, but the thing is, he hadn't broken any laws. And until he or his dogs did, there was nothing anyone could do. You see, one day he got up and the dogs were gone. They had escaped from the backyard. He was mildly concerned, but couldn't be bothered his hairy arse to do anything about it. And lo and behold, the dogs returned that evening. He was about to give them a good hiding when he discovered the dogs had dragged something back with them.
What was it?
A body.
For the love of St. Dolores and the Cranberries, the dogs had slaughtered some poor bastard.
Not just some poor bastard. It was Pascal Wrench from number 7.
Jesus! The Residents Association fella. The cops will have a field day.
Well, now, a lesser man would have shot himself, but Mad Dog had been in trouble before. There's always a way out.
Sure, his dogs had just murdered his neighbour. How in Hades was he going to wash his hands of that one?
Washing was exactly what he was going to do.
Hello, you've lost me.
Mad Dog had a plan. It was simple. He was preparing Mr. Wrench for a second encounter with his death. He washed the corpse's hair, cleaned his nails, stitched up any puncture wounds inflicted by the dogs, and redressed him.
What the hell was he at?
He waited until it was dark, and then he brought the body and an empty bottle of whiskey and set the corpse in a drunken position on the steps of number 7. It was a great plan. Mrs. Wrench would find her husband dead on the doorstep in what appeared to be death by alcohol poisoning, absolving him and his dogs of any of the blame.
A good plan.
Yeah, it was a great plan. The cops called to Mad Dog's door the next evening.
Ah, good evening, Mr. Maguire. Did you hear that Mr. Wrench from number 7 was found dead on his doorstep this morning?
The cop said.
Isn't that a feckin' tragedy? Well, I won't keep you, guard.
Mad Dog replied, calm as you like.
It's Lieutenant Luke Ladd from Leitrim CID,
said the detective.
You see, the thing is, Mr. Wrench died 3 days ago, and in accordance to his wishes was buried in his back garden under his prize rhododendron bush.
Mad Dog flinched slightly.
Yes, Mrs. Wrench dropped dead when she saw him. It appears some sick bastard dug the husband up, washed him down, and took him out for a night on the town, and placed the corpse on the front doorstep.
The detective told him.
So the dogs dug up the body, and he'd got to all that trouble for nothing.
That's right.
What did Mad Dog do next?
Well, he knew the guards had nothing on him.
Well, there goes the neighbourhood.
He replied and slammed the door on Lieutenant Luke Ladd. Then he went out to the back and shot his dogs. All within the law, mind.
Your dogs are only trouble.
Yeah, true.
Give me an old cat any day, huh? Huh? You little bugger. You little scutcheon. Huh? You little names-ridden flea bag. Huh? Huh? Oh, here, watch this. Ready?
What do you...
Here, fetch! Fetch! Come on, you devil.
Will you look at that? I've never seen
look at that.
the likes of that
Come on,
in all me
devil.
life.
Come on.
Look at
Give us that rat. Give us that rat. Come on. Give it to me. Here. No, give it here, will you? Give it.
He doesn't seem to be cooperating. Rodge, I don't mean to poo-poo on your training scheme here. There's only one way to get a stubborn animal to drop a rat.
Oh, what would that be, Rolf?
Well, it's a bit unethical, but you stick your finger up their rear. It makes them drop it, with the shock.
Right, so.
There you are.
Oh, look at that, it works.
Every time, Rodge, every
That's
time.
great now, that's great. Podge, how do I get my finger out?
I'd love to help you there, Rodge, but they haven't figured that bit out yet. No, just the other
Right.
bit. I'm off to sleep now. Good night.
Or at least in the morning.
Ballydong Radio. Long way. The hot sounds of Ballydong Radio. Yes, a reminder here from Sister Clitora that there's been an outbreak of head lice in high babies, and that all parents have a responsibility to have their children's heads shaved and tarred for school tomorrow morning. Oh, and a note here from Jimmy Dorgan. He's found his leg. Over to Rodge now for the latest weather. It's mild. Of course, it's a special day here on Ballydung Radio. Our sponsors, the Screw You Porno Shop, are celebrating 17 years in business. Father Flange has been down giving a blessing, and the first 5 listeners into Screw You to shout, "I've got a raging horn," will get a free copy of Butt Specialist. And if the gang are listening down there, don't forget my special package. Huh? Oh, right. Could you throw in a copy of Trollops on Tractors? Naked Bungee Babes. Oh, Jesus. And a copy of Naked Bungee Babes. But now, here's a song from Ballydung's favourite sons done good, Fester and Ailin. This one's entered the British charts at number 184.
Wonder lads.
It's a song about our very own porno shop. From their new album, You'll Never Be Lonely in Prison, here is Ireland's first pornography shop.
A man with a dream back in 82 opened a shop, called it Screw You. It was not DIY, more of a dubious nature, with products that disgust or titillate ya. Word spread like lightning through our Catholic aisle that the shop was selling photos of vertical smiles and of foreign lads with enormous dicks, measuring 3 foot, some 4, some 5 and some 6. It was Ireland, oh Ireland's first pornography shop. The moral majority wanted it stopped, but the people of Ireland stuck up their free hand. We don't want our porno shop banned. There's cum shots and bum shots and ladies with hair. There's whips and chains and kinky underwear. There's blow-ups, strap-ons, butt plugs and all. If you're a pervert with money, you're welcome to call. You're all welcome. There's creams and ointments and pumps for your lad. Nipple clamps if your slave has been bad. Videos, vibrators, contraptions galore in Ireland's original pornography store. Come on everybody! It was Ireland, oh Ireland's first pornography shop. The moral majority wanted it stopped, but the people of Ireland stuck up their free hand. We don't want our porno shop banned. If you come down south, or you're taking it up the north, if your nun is getting none, or you're into water sports, an uphill gardener from Glasnevin, or a snake from Salt Hill, or if you're simply into licking toilet seats with something to fit the bill, you can all come to Ireland's first pornography shop. That's right. If it's pain or pleasure, if you're hetero or gay, if you're a lesbo or a tranny, or if you like it both ways, there's only one place you'll ever need to stop. It's Ireland's original pornography shop. You! Come on, everybody! It was Ireland, oh Ireland's first pornography shop. The moral majority, they wanted it stopped, but the people of Ireland stuck up their free hand. We don't want our porno shop banned. No, we don't want our porno shop banned.
That was great, folks. A bit of history there, listeners. They have a great turn of phrase, do Festernalen, you know. If you're a fan, of course you are. We certainly are here on Ballydung Radio. Here are the Festernalen tour dates.
Right. Saturday the 3rd, Wankelstown Community Centre. Monday the 5th, Madge's Honeypot, Fiddler's Minge. Tuesday the 6th, the boys are appearing at Dunnish Shite, and there's a free supper at that gig.
Very good.
Wednesday the 7th, the boys will play at the Pubicon Creamery Charity Night, and all proceeds there go to the Butter for Lepers Fund. Finally, on Friday the 8th, the Sunday the 11th, it's Ballybollock Seaside Festival. And the bill also includes support from the local hardcore rap group, the Slut Puppies. And the donkey roast here is at 8 p.m. Fun there for all the family.
Very good, very good. Thank you there, Rodge. But now more music here on Ballydung Radio. The singing surgeon himself, Ambrose Macaulay, and You're Like My Anchor. Load of shite, that song. We're not on, are we? We are. Okay, the red light's on still. Okay. Very good. Which one is it? Don't turn it off.
You are like my anger. You.
Oh!
Is it yourself?
Oh! Thank God.
Good man.
God, I'm home. Oh,
You got the shopping?
Huh? Oh, jeez.
Yeah. How'd the operation go?
Oh, I tell you, wait till I tell you the whole thing. It was shocking painful. It was a terrible mix-up, Podge.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Terrible mix-up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to walk here the 15 miles from the hospital, by the way. I thought you were going to come and pick me up.
Yeah, well, I was going to, but I couldn't muster up the enthusiasm.
The doctor said, I might want to take up some light exercise.
Right,
You know what? Get a bit fitter.
Uh-huh.
The doctor's wife, she does a bit of Irish dancing.
Right, yeah.
Thought I might give it a go.
Irish dancing?
Huh?
You go and dance the arse off yourself, but you'll undoubtedly end up dead.
Huh?
Sure, haven't you heard of Seamus McAnus and the story of the Black Brogues?
If I said I had heard, it would make a difference.
No, listen up, you scuttering gobsheen pup. You might learn something that might save your life. Even at the age of 3, young Seamus McAnus had a burning ambition to be the best Irish dancer in the world ever. So determined was Seamus that no one was going to get in his way. And by the age of 18, he had worked his way to national champion by fair ways or foul.
Cheating?
Yeah.
The scheming gobsheen. Suppose he must have been happy with himself having reached the top.
Oh, not at all.
Huh?
He had an ego the size of Belturbet. She had the whole world to conquer. But Seamus was finding it increasingly difficult to fend off the competitors. That was until the phone call.
Oh. The phone call! Right, would it have been Mike Murphy, your man with the orange face, from Winning Strip?
No, you scuttering gobsheen. It was an anonymous caller. You're in a rut, Seamus. I know the secret of dominating the world of dance, he said. Who the feck are you calling me, Seamus McAnus, Ireland's #1 dancer? I'm your only hope if you want to make it to the top. Seamus's curiosity got the better of him, and he decided to meet the mysterious caller, if only to give him a piece of his mind.
What happened so?
Well, he met the mysterious caller in a run-down flat in Mullinasnot. It was a grey-haired man, a lot older than his years. How's an old fart like you going to make me world champion? I'm wasting my time here. Just as Seamus was turning to leave, the old man pulled a pair of the shiniest black brogues Seamus had ever seen. Try them on for size. They were once owned by a world champion dancer. The man said it was like the shoes were made for Seamus. He felt an overwhelming urge to dance. And in that run-down flat, he danced like he'd never danced before. How much do I owe you for these shoes? Asked Seamus. The old man had fallen asleep. So Seamus did a runner with the shoes still on his feet and danced the whole 25 miles home. And within a year, he was world champion.
So his dreams came true after all, eh? Some bastards of all they look. I'm sure him becoming world champion, at least he'll be able to put his feet up.
You see, that's the problem.
Eh?
The day he put on the shoes was the day he danced his life away. You see, they were no ordinary black brogues. They'd make you a world champion, all right, but there was a catch. You could never take the shoes off.
Huh?
For even while Seamus slept, his feet kept dancing away. And even with all the applause and all the awards, he couldn't stop the hatred he was now feeling for the dance.
He needs to get the horn.
Huh?
Huh? A shoe horn! Behind
Oh.
the heel!
Right, yeah.
It's your only man.
Yeah, he tried everything. All kinds of chiropodists and foot healers. But no one could help him.
Huh?
It was like the shoes were part of his anatomy. Eventually he returned to the place he first encountered the cursed shoes. Seamus kicked in the door. How do I get these feckin' shoes off, you old bastard? They're killing me! He shouted. Look,
I'd give you everything I own if you tell me how to get these shoes off and give me some peace. The old man slowly pulled up the blanket covering his legs to reveal 2 stumps just above the ankles where his feet had been. I'd like to have done a neater job, only the saw was rusty. You see, I wasn't the first to use it, and nor the last. Just then, footless cripples dragged themselves into the room and handed Seamus the rusty blade. Welcome to the retired world champion dancers club, Seamus McAnus.
Jesus. He had to saw his own ankles off.
Yep. Anyway, what should you get here, little? You're a mean old bollocks. Only buying 1 sausage.
No, I was trying to tell you earlier, you see. They made a mistake with me operation. They mixed my appendix operation up with Pansy Flanders sex change. They said I should take me Willie home with me, and they'd sew it back on in the morning.
You mean?
Right. Well, look, I'd better have that back, and put it under here for safekeeping. Who's going to clean that? Pops, where's that cat? Pops, go on, food, come on, food.
You been?
I went to the Big Smoke, to the supermarket.
You went to Mullingar, to the supermarket?
Yeah.
Are you sick or excited or what?
Huh?
Sure, everyone knows the dangers of mass shopping.
Oh, yeah. Mass shopping, yeah. Right enough. There was a bit of trolley rage in the toiletries aisle.
Feck, that is not the toiletries. It's your feckin' life you should be worried about. Don't tell me you haven't heard of the man in the Aran mask.
Would it surprise you if I said no?
There was a mild-mannered man called Garvin Quick who lived with his wife Durkis in the busy town of Belly Hare. He was the manager of Smart Value, the town's biggest supermarket. He was always helpful and kind to his staff.
Sounds like a dry shite to me.
That's exactly what he wanted everyone to think. Because beneath the harmless exterior lurked a devious criminal mastermind with a cruel streak.
Oh, yeah. Was he keeping all the Smart Value Super Saver stamps for himself?
No! He was the man in the Aran mask!
Right, is that the time? I'm going off to sleep now.
Under the cover of late-night shopping, he would disguise himself, including a mask he had fashioned out of the sleeve of an old Aran jumper. And when the opportunity arose, he would sneak out of his office and prey on unsuspecting shoppers. What he did was hide under people's cars, and as they got out of their car, he would slice through their Achilles tendon with his trademark carpet knife, so they couldn't run away. Then he stole their wallets.
Devious bastard.
Yeah.
Sure, he'd be on good money. What would he be bothered with the contents of a few wallets and purses for?
It wasn't the money that got his juices flowing. It was the thrill of the slice. And when he got his first newspaper headline, there was no stopping him.
Newspaper headline?
Yep. The man in the Aran mask was quickly gaining a nationwide reputation, and Garvin thrived on the publicity over his creation. Then one day he was watching the news. Dun, dun, diddle, dun, diddle, dun, dun, dun. The man in the Aran mask has killed for the first time. He slit the throat of a young banker. Diddle, dun, dun, dun. News just in. The man in the Aran mask
has killed again.
Garvin was appalled. His man in the Aran mask would never kill anyone. The whole thing was getting out of hand. With a copycat killer on the loose, it was time for him to lie low. He hid the mask in the usual place, beneath a loose floorboard, under the stairs.
So, did the copycat killer keep killing?
Yep.
Thank you, Grania. The man in the Aran mask has struck again. Police are stepping up their investigations.
A month had passed since Garvin had put his mask away, and 3 more murders had been attributed to his alias. Then there was a knock on the door.
Hello, Mr. Quake. Lieutenant Larry Ladd from Leitrim CID.
Said the officer.
We'd like to look around. It's purely routine.
Garvin was caught on the hop. He just prayed they wouldn't look under the stairs.
Don't forget to look under the stairs, lads,
said the detective. Garvin started to sweat as an officer discovered a loose floorboard.
Huh. So they found the mask, huh?
No. To Garvin's surprise and relief, the mask wasn't there. There was only one explanation. His wife, Dorcas, must have found it. After the police had left, he thought long and hard about what he should do and came to the conclusion that when Dorcas returned from bridge class, he'd come clean about the robberies and beg her forgiveness. Sure, she'd know he was no murderer.
Yeah, 'cause he's a slicer, not a killer.
Yeah, right, Rodge. Anyway, he waited and waited, and she never came home. Then the phone rang. It was Dorcas.
The bus never turned up, so I walked to the supermarket. I thought you were working late and I could get a lift, but there's no one here.
She said. He told her to hang on. He'd come and pick her up. He pulled into his usual parking space and got out of his car. But Dorcas was nowhere to be seen. Then he felt a tingling sensation at the back of his leg. He got dizzy. He tried to move forward, but he fell on his face. He rolled onto his side, only to see a figure scramble out from underneath his car.
It was the other man in the Aran mask.
You're only half right.
Huh?
It wasn't a man. You see, unbeknownst to him, Dorcas was the copycat killer. And to Garvin's horror, not only was his sweet wife an accomplished slicer, but an expert body dicer. With a final flash of steel, she slit his windpipe and left him dead in the car park. Another victim of the notorious man in the Aran mask.
But it's a woman.
You know that, she knows that, but the cops don't know that. And that's why she's still at large.
Still at large, you say?
Yeah.
You mean she could be...
Yeah, look, what overpriced rubbish did you buy at the supermarket anyway?
Oh, I only went for the bargains. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. A £1 coin is all I spent.
A pet?
Yeah.
On what?
On one of them big supermarket shopping trolleys. You know the ones with the funny wheels. Yeah. I thought it'd be ideal for transporting Granny down to the Black Mass.
Oh, did you?
And it'll save the mess on the car seat, you know?
You're some feckless rogue.
Huh? I just put a little squirt on it.
But oh, Jesus, Mary and Joseph on a bike. What's that vile stench?
Oh, that's great. Huh?
What is it?
Oh, it must be working so. You're not supposed to like it. It's only for the ladies. Apparently it gets their juices flowing.
I know what that is. It's one of them sex sprays. Were you over at that porno shop in Bugger Hill?
No, it's mail order. It's called 69. makes the ladies mad.
Yeah. You go ahead and spray yourself with cat piss.
Huh?
But remember this. Using unnatural methods of attracting the opposite sex may result in death.
Feel another one of your tales coming on.
Well, you be right. And you do well to listen carefully, you heathen pup. Willie Shaven from Cross-Dress Pass was a decent enough stick. But like yourself, couldn't interest a woman. What's a nice way of putting it? Ah, yeah. He had a face like a slid-in shite. Anyway, one day he spotted a woman in the village. She was a vision. The most gorgeous woman in the country.
Jesus. Did she look like a core sister?
She looked like the best of all the core sisters rolled into one. But he knew she wouldn't look sideways at him.
Huh?
But in fairness, he gave it his best shot. I'm wondering, 'cause you're new in town, can I show you the sights? She stared down at him, cocked her nose up, and walked away.
Stuck up snoot. Did he give up after that?
Well, after that, he knew he'd never charm her. So he popped up to the city and found one of them sex shops you're so fond of. Do you have anything in the love potion line? He asked the man. Oh, is it love you're after? Love doesn't come cheap, sir. The man said. Oh, $99.99 for this love bottle. Oh, yes. Will it work? Asked Willie. Oh, guaranteed to work, sir, but only put in 2 drops. No more, no less. And the woman will be all yours. Oh, yes, said the man. I'll put it in a bag for you, sir. So off home went Willie to put his plan into action.
Yeah. Did it work?
Yeah, it worked all right. But the fumbling Egypt dropped the whole lot into her tea in the local coffee shop. As she sipped her tea, she began to stare at Willie. Her eyes suddenly full of love.
Ah, so it did work.
Yep, they both got up, walked out of the coffee shop together, and from that moment on, they were never apart.
Well, that's what he wanted.
Oh, he got what he wanted, all right. But it was more than he bargained for.
How do you mean?
Well, the thing is, for the first 2 weeks it was great. She absolutely adored him. But as the months went by, he realised that she never left his side. And I mean, never.
Even when he was having a
Yes!
Jesus.
In fact, poor Willie was getting pretty sick and tired of the 24 hours a day adoration. She was smothering him with love. You're going home in the London ambulance? Oh, I'm just watching football with the lads, he'd say.
I'll watch it too.
She'd say. I'm working late in the office, he'd say.
I'll bring you your tea.
She'd say. I'm reading a book, he'd say.
I'll read it too.
She'd say.
Jesus, is she a bugger on your back or what?
Indeed, it was driving Willie demented. It was time to do something about it.
Was he considering something a bit drastic?
Well, after trying every possible way to get rid of her legally, he was forced to consider the only 2 options left to him.
How do you mean?
Kill her or kill himself.
So, how did he kill her?
Well, unfortunately, poor Willie wasn't the lady-killing type.
Too long in the Cub Scouts.
Yeah, so he opted for the coward's way out. One evening, when she was washing her hair, he stuck his head in the gas oven.
What a way to go.
Trouble was, he didn't quite go before she found him. Another minute would have done it. Next thing Willie knew was that he woke up in a hospital bed with a doctor standing over him. He tried to get up, but his body wouldn't respond.
I'm afraid your partner is in a deep vegetative state,
said the doctor.
He could easily live for another 60 years, but he'll never know you're here. We'll take good care of him. Don't worry, Doctor. I'll be taking care of my darling Willie at home, 24 hours a day, for the rest of his natural life.
Willie screamed, but nothing came out.
Jesus, huh? Even in death, huh? Even in death he couldn't get rid of her, huh?
That's true, you know, that's the whole thing of the story.
Oh,
Oh, it's that perfume stuff, the spray. To him, you're in heat.
Oh, you
There's
dirty
nothing
thing!
you
Get
can
off
do
me!
about
Get
it.
off me, you dirty cat!
Serves you right, you and your poncy perfumes.
Hello, how are you? Oh, your breasts are fierce impressive, so they are. Ha 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 ha. Right, that's that one.
What riotous smut are you gawking at?
Huh? It's not smut. It's a DIY lifestyle book.
Right, yeah.
How to Get a Ride. It's from the man who brought us the Home Sex Change Guide and Doing It With Your Dog. There's a great chapter on multiple partners.
You go right ahead with your menage a trois.
Oh, Jesus. Instead of garlic in it.
Shut up, you bowser. You're giving me an arseache. If you keep heading that way, you'll end up no better than Larry Lang, or as he was known to his mates in the building trade, Banger Lang. He was one of them six-pack, hod-carrying loudmouth Casanova builder types.
Oh, I know. The type who shaves the hair off his arse.
Yeah, and it was quite a shock to his mates when he suddenly settled down with a local lass, Bridget O'Brien, who worked in the bookshop.
Who'd have thought a fella like that would settle down with your one?
Which one would this be?
You won the bookshop.
Oh, right, because it could have been Nora Flaherty, the barmaid from Mullinasnot, County Galway, or Vixen Beaver, the lap dancer from Caxtown Bridge, County Offaly.
What you talking about, Willis?
Huh? Banger Lang had just married for the third time. Each wife thought she was the only one. The cocky bastard had a master plan. You see, the building trade can take you all over the country.
Yeah.
And Banger thought, why not have a few wives? A bit of variety in my stable, and they can supplement me income while they're at it.
So the scuttering gobsheen had 3 wives on the go. Ha! There you are.
When he wanted a quiet night in, he'd stay with Bridget. When he wanted some free booze and a shag, he'd stay with Nora. And when he wanted some private dancing and adventurous bedtime frolics, he'd call on Vixen.
She sounds like the type that'd get strict on you and order you to get naked, give you a good spanking, then rub beef stock cubes all over your naked flesh, then let the dogs loose.
Shut
on
up,
you!
you feckless gimp! He'd destroy the sheets. But right enough, Banger Lang had it all.
But they must have suspected something.
Not at all.
Huh?
Banger was the king of confidence. He had every excuse in the book. I'll be back on Friday, love, he'd say. What'll I do without you at all? Listen, love, I need £50 for a pair of new wipers for the van. And they'd always give him what he wanted. Little did they suspect that he'd be using the money to buy presents for the next wife on his itinerary.
Certainly worth thinking about, though.
Yeah, he loved the thrill of it and was so confident that he chose to ignore the incident in the shop.
What incident? What shop?
Colostomy Meats in Boyle. He popped in for an order of ham for the lads on the site. Started chatting up this woman behind the counter.
You can stop your chatterblinds right there. I know your wife.
She said.
Oh, it's been a while. What's her name now?
Banger, for the first time, was caught out. Bridget, he hesitated. No, said the woman. Nora, no, said the woman. Vixen.
Oh, that's her, Vixen. Oh, lovely lady. She does ballet or something.
And before she'd finished talking, he'd left without the ham.
Jesus, a fella like that not thinking about his meat.
Well, he thought no more of it. She was just a nosy old cow. That evening he got a call from Vixen.
I've got to see you tonight. I'm so horny.
Ho ho ho! Super! Of course he couldn't resist Vixen's call. So he arrived all psyched up.
Come here. Had you a raging horn on him, huh?
You can hang a door off it, Rodge. She didn't waste any time. Before he knew it, he was spread-eagled, handcuffed to the bed.
I hope you don't mind, darling. I brought a couple of friends along.
Bridget and Nora.
That's right. The Secret Wives Club. The jig was up. His secret was out.
How did they find out?
Simple. Your one from the shop found Vixen's number. After all, it was £15 worth of ham he'd left behind. Mm-hmm. So they got talking, and your one from the shop told her of the funny incident of how her husband took 3 guesses to remember her name. It only took a few minutes investigating his mobile phone bill to track down the other 2 wives.
So what happened? Were they angry? Or were they willing participants?
Come on, girls. Surely we can come up with some special arrangement, huh?
Banger suggested. A 4-in-a-bed session flashed through his mind.
No, you're too good to share, Banger,
said Nora.
We'd each like a piece of you for ourselves.
And with that, Bridget pulled back the sheet from the end of the bed to reveal Banger's very own bench saw spinning into action. You could say he split up with them.
Well, if I'm not going to be a ladies' man, luckily I bought this other book.
Huh?
Han Solo, an out-of-this-world guide to self-gratification.
Oh, geez.
Take a look at that.
Jesus, is that sandpaper?
Well, yeah, but that's the pleasure in pain chapter.
Yeah, maybe you should start at chapter 1.
Huh?
I'm a sad, lonely old bastard who can't even get a sniff of a woman.
Feck off. Come here, wait till I show you the back. Look. Look at that, look at that. There's some inspirational material of a photographic nature. Hang on. The feckin' pages are stuck together.
Probably a printing error.
They're feckin' glued together. What is... Hold on. Someone's been at the book.
Or at least in the morning.
Ballydong Radio.
Long win.
And that was the Harvest Boys there, listeners, and the Ballad of the Field Mouse. Now, all you know out there, you know how important today is, don't you? We need your donations to save Ballydong Radio. As you know, we're broadcasting illegally, and despite Rodge shooting the licence inspector, the persistent feckers have been on to us again. And as you know, licences cost money.
Oh, that's right, listen.
Far too much money altogether. So instead, we're raising money for a bribe. Rodge, what's the total on the totalometer?
Well, the total on the totalometer is... £8 6 shillings.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Now, come on now, listeners.
Come on.
We're going to have to do better than that. We need 50 quid by the end of the show.
Only 50.
Or we're shagged. That means no more Ballydong Radio. And more tunes from your favourite artists, like Tommy Gusset and his big brass horn. The Lang sisters.
They're great girls for the 69s.
Yeah, they're 45s.
I know.
Oh. Gilby and Waters. Yeah, they're great, Gilby and Waters. And of course, our favourites, the local boys done good. Sure, where would we be without
Where
them?
would we be?
Oh, dig deep, listeners, and make your pledges as we listen to Fester and Alan from their new country EP recorded in Nashville, Tennessee.
Come on, the lads.
Haystacks and Hooers.
Haystacks and Hooers.
This is a little tune now. Take it away, boy.
Yee-haw!
Now, son, you've done your crime. You'll have to do your time. The judge said take him away. To prison you will stay. For 15 years or more. He'll be locked behind steel doors. With others of ill repute. All anonymous in prison suits, yeah. Look tall, and your heart will sink so small. But laddie, don't despair. You'll meet a friend in there. You might find a like-minded soul in the bunk bed down below, who's sharing your woes. A pink nail varnish on your toes. Oh, you'll never be lonesome in prison. No, you'll never be lonesome at all. Although you're locked away, you'll get cuddles all day and a pat on the bum from the warden. Oh, you'll never be lonesome in prison. No, you'll never be lonesome at all. Although you're locked away, you'll get cuddles all day and a pat on the bum from the warden. Alright, so if you're in for life, no doubt someone shagging your wife, but don't feel no ills, 'cause someone else is paying your bills. If you're feeling aroused and missing your spouse, and the fella in the bunkie is looking kinda hunky, no, you'll never be lonesome in prison. No, you'll never be lonesome at all. Although you're locked away, you'll get cuddles all day and a pat on the bum from the warden. One more time. No, you'll never be lonesome in prison. No, you'll never be lonesome at all. Although you're locked away, you'll get cuddles all day and a pat on the bum from the warden. If you're dying for a fag and you fancy a butt, well, there'll always be someone to fix you up. Right enough, yeah. If you need tucking in or a shoulder to cry on, it's your fellow inmates you can trust and rely on. You'll want for nothing. You'll be one of the gang if you oblige with a rub and the occasional bang. What? Jesus Christ. Cowboy! 7 years inside. It's a time to wave goodbye to the men who've been so kind, leaving memories of them behind. Perhaps you'll go straight now, or maybe it's too late now. And if you're craving a cuddle, no doubt you'll find trouble, alright. 'Cause you'll never be lonesome in prison, and no, you'll never be lonesome at all. Although you're locked away, you'll get cuddles all day and a pat on the bum from the warden. Oh, no, you'll never be lonesome in prison, and no, you'll never be lonesome at all. Although you're locked away, you'll get cuddles all day and a pat on the bum from the warden. Oh, no, you'll never be lonesome in prison, and no, you'll never be lonesome at all. Although you're locked away, you'll get cuddles all day and a pat on the rear from the warden. That's right, you'll never be lonesome in prison.
That was great.
Wasn't it? Fester and Alan there, Get All Country. That was a song called You'll Never Be Lonesome in Prison.
You'll never be lonesome in prison.
That's very good. I don't know how they do. Well, look, we've had a lot of pledges during that song
Yes, we
to
have.
save Ballydung Radio. Over to Rodge for the total on the totalometer.
And the total on the totalometer is, oh,
What?
£9, 2 shillings.
Ah, Jesus. Right. We'll have to resort to more old-fashioned tactics. If you don't start pledging money, DJ Rodge starts losing fingers.
Huh? Oh, shite.
So consider that while you listen to Ambrose Macaulay with the current number 1, You're Like My Anchor.
Come here.
Give me the little finger now. You only need one.
Look. Ow.
They better start sending in money, or I'll move on to the feet.
What?
You're always dragging me down. You're always dragging me down. Always.
What time is it?
7:30. Oh, shit! What the?
What am I, huh?
You're a jumped-up ponce is what you are.
No, I meant me costume.
Good.
Sadie's invited me to the abattoir Christmas party. It's fancy dress. I'm going as a lamb to the slaughter.
Well, you go ahead and frolic your woolly arse down to that party, but it'll undoubtedly end in tears, as most Christmas parties do.
Huh?
Let me tell you the story of Rudy Member and his girlfriend, Jenny Talia. They both worked for a software company.
Oh, I'm more of a hard drive man myself.
No, actually, you're more of a floppy disk type. Anyway, around September one year, Jenny had a run-in with her boss, Mr. Brown. You see, a big account had been lost.
Jenny, is it? Yeah. We've had some terrible news. We've lost the Figures Cox account. I'm afraid I'm going to have to let you go.
He said.
Oh, but I wasn't even working on that account.
She replied.
Well, for my intents and purposes, you were, Miss Talia. Please clean out your desk.
He said.
Bloody corporate, cover his own arse type. Could she not have gone above his head?
Yeah, she could have, but she didn't want to put her boyfriend Rudy's job on the line, as Mr. Brown was his boss too. A couple of months passed and Jenny had gotten a new job. Rudy arrived home one evening with invites to his office party. Oh, darling, it's a fancy dress party. It'll be absolutely whiz-out. Rudy enthused.
I don't want to go. I might bump into Mr. Brown.
Rudy understood and was disappointed, but he didn't want to push her. On the night of the party, Rudy was heading out the door in a devil's costume.
Yeah, you can't go too far wrong with the queer fella.
Yeah, shut up, sheep boy. Anyway, poor Jenny was bored at home. She'd got a video in, but it was rubbish.
Paltrow.
Yeah, she got to reminiscing and thinking of her lovely boyfriend Rudy and how they'd first met 3 years ago at the office party and the night of passion that ensued. Then she had an idea that if she disguised herself well enough, no one would recognise her, especially Mr. Brown. And she could surprise Rudy in more ways than one.
Tell me more.
When she arrived at the party, she spotted Rudy and slinked up to him and whispered in his ear.
Oh, come with me now, you dirty devil.
Then she grabbed him by the hand and took him to the photocopying room.
Did she want to see the devil's hole?
And more. They had mad, passionate sex on the photocopying machine, just like they did 3 years ago. After the photocopying frolics, she kissed her horny devil and fled into the night.
Ooh, I'll see you later, lover boy.
She said. A few hours later, Rudy returned home.
Well, did you enjoy the party?
She purred at him. Oh, yes, I certainly did, he said.
So, was it good for you?
She asked. Oh, yes, I won £500, he replied.
Huh?
She wondered what he was talking about. Oh, when I arrived at the party, I realised that Mr. Brown had the same costume as me. So I decided to go and play cards with the lads in the tea room, and I won £500.
She'd shagged the boss.
Yep, she went white, but had to keep calm. God, sure, it'd break Rudy's heart if he ever found out the stupid mistake she'd made. As he got into bed, he began to laugh. Apparently, Mr. Brown shagged some trollop in the photocopying room. He was going around the party bragging that at the board meeting on Monday, he would be showing some very interesting photocopies. Jenny's heart sank, and it was at that moment she regretted ever getting that rose tattoo on her left buttock. God, rapid she was.
Oh, Jesus, what time is it? Quick!
7:30.
Oh. Wait a minute! It was 7:30 hours ago.
Oh, silly me, I forgot to wind the clock.
Oh, shite! Feck it, I'm late now. Willie Burrows will be all over Sadie like a greased leper.
Is that the fella with the combi muck spreader?
Yeah, the flash bastard.
I don't like him.
He's got the hots for Sadie.
Oh, does he?
I was supposed to be going with her. She was Bo Peep, but I was a sheep.
Little Bo Peep has lost her sheep, 'cause Rodge forgot the time, but she'll go home with Willie Burrows. And shag him till he's blind.
Back off!
Oh, there's that.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas to all you gobsheens out there! Ho, ho, ho!
Oh, Jesus. Listen, I'll tell you what, right? I'd give that 20 minutes out there, having a bit of trouble with me Brown. A bit like Vietnam. Oh, by the way, me and Sadie will be taking the car up to Dublin. She wants to buy a frock. Is that all right?
You'll be going nowhere with your fancy woman. I won't have my car clamped.
Huh?
Jesus, this country's gone clamping mad. And it'll all end in tears, like it did in the sleepy bottleneck town of Dripping, County Laois.
Sounds like a bog hole to me, Podge.
You're not wrong, Rodge. The town had been besieged by traffic, and Bord Trafugta, the traffic council, decided to send Ireland's most notorious clamper, Willie Rigid, from I've Got the Clamp Incorporated, to sort the problem out once and for all.
Notorious, did you say?
Yep, he even clamped his mother.
His own mother's car. Jeez.
No, his own mother's hearse.
The bad buggering bastard.
On his first night in Dripping, he walked into the pub. Everyone parked outside have been clamped. You're all parked in double yellow lines. He announced.
But there's no yellow lanes out there,
said the barman. There is now, said Willie with a smirk on his face.
Jesus.
Sure, he wasn't there to make friends, Rodge. He had a job to do and a bonus to collect. he set about on a clamping rampage. The town never knew what hit them. Willie skirted around the edge of the law and occasionally used some underhand tactics to up his weekly quota. Am I all right there for a minute, officer? The old man would say, "Don't worry, I'll keep an eye on her for you." Willie would say, and with no conscience whatsoever, he'd add another notch onto his clamp. Even the very young didn't escape the yellow triangle. You're a lovely baby, but you're causing obstruction.
I tell you what, there's nothing worse than a corrupt clamper.
Yeah, right, Rodge. Anyway, one day, the Lord Mayor called him over. Hello, William. I want to give you this on behalf of the locals. It's a calming measure. The mayor said, handing him an envelope. Oh. Cash, is it? Asked Willie. Yes, £3,000. I hope we understand each other. It's just a gift. Winked the mayor, and with that, Willie stuck the envelope in his jacket and stuck a ticket on the Lord Mayor's windscreen for parking illegally.
Oh, Jesus, he's some go-boy. There's no letting up with him. Now, if he was in a strange town with no friends, what did he do of an evening?
He'd sit at home polishing his clamps.
Polishing his clamps, yeah?
No. Rodge. Polishing his clamps.
Oh.
Yeah. Then one evening, he got a phone call.
Sure, who the hell would be ringing that no-friender?
It was one of them radio stations.
Oh, was it one of them toxic cash calls? So if you've got the phrase that pays, they send you a load of shite and a scratch card through the post. I mean, what the hell? What the hell would I want? A baseball cap and a bag from WANKFN.
Will you shut up, you scuttering gobsheen? Jesus. The DJ said to Willie,
"You're live on the air. This is Skid Marks from Pump 109er. You're a lucky caller. All I want to know for True Collie and Bella Vagina, what is the capital of Spain?"
Willie knew it straight away. Madrid, he said.
Yo, you're a winner! Hey, your tickets are included.
Willie had never won anything in his life. Sure, feck it. He was sick of this town and a holiday would do him good. He could refresh himself and then get back to more serious clamping.
So, he went on holiday then?
Oh, yeah. He packed his bag, stuck a clamp in just in case, and bid the town of Dripping County Laois a two-fingered farewell as he set off on his free holiday to Bella Vagina.
I suppose the townsfolk were delighted to get rid of him for a couple of weeks.
Well, to be honest, Rodge, there were very few townsfolk there. Meanwhile, Willie lay baking on the Mediterranean sand. He almost thought at one point he heard that distinctive clink-clink sound of his clamps. But it was obviously a daydream or something. But it was a sea lapping around his ankles that eventually woke him up. He thought he'd better get up. The tide comes in fierce fast in this corner of the world. But as he tried to get up, he couldn't move.
Huh. Sunstroke?
No. Clamps around his wrists and his ankles. And as the water lapped up over his face and the water began to fill in his lungs, he could have sworn he made out some of the faces of the residents of Dripping County Laois.
Oh! I tell you what, though, you live by the clamp, you die by the clamp.
Yeah, right, Rodge. Stupid bastard.
Well, I'm off to sleep for the night. Oh, baby.
Ooh, baby. Oh, yeah. Ooh, baby.
What's that thing? It's all cold. Jesus, what is it? Get it off me. What the heck is going on? What the hell is this thing?
Rodge, it looks like you've been clamped.
Huh? Get it off me.
Oh, there's a number on the front.
Huh?
There's a number in the front.
All right. Hang on. Just be back in a minute. Hello. Me Willie's been clamped.
Hello. this is a recorded message. Rodge, our offices are closed till the morning. Tough.
Shite. Their offices are closed until the morning.
Oh, are they? Oh, that's shocking, of course. It'll be very late now for the offices to be open.
Shite.
Well, that's clampers for you.
Oh, how are you?
How'd you get on your date?
The film was shite.
DiCaprio?
Every feckin' time.
Jesus.
Mind you.
What?
Sadie had her keys with her to the abattoir.
Oh, hey, did you get any free stuff?
A pig's arse and a bit of tongue.
No, I didn't ask you about your girlfriend. I wanted to know, did you get any free stuff? Hey,
Fecker.
That's great, you know. Some meat for the morning.
Meat for the morning!
Ah, yeah. Hey, do you know what? It must be very satisfactory for Sadie to be working with animals and all.
Yeah, I never thought of that.
Yeah, but thing is, the meat industry is fraught with danger.
Is it really?
Yeah. There's a town called Shitstick in the west.
That's near Brown's Hollow.
Well, no, it's about 40 miles further west, actually. It would have been like any other backward kip. 20 pubs, a couple of grocers, a hairdresser, and 2 butcher shops. And that's where the problem lay.
Only 20 pubs?
No, you feckin' gobsheen. The butcher shops.
Sure, every town has a couple of butcher shops.
Yeah, but not as competitive as these. There was Ruddock's Meats, run by Jimmy Ruddock. And up the road, Larson's Family Victualers, run by Liam Larson. Jesus, they hated each other with a vengeance. We're always trying to get the better of each other.
Like, who'd have the biggest sausage?
Yeah, shut up, you toad of Satan. There was all kinds of price undercutting. Free pigs trotters, Monday meat specials, knockdown tripe, and barbecue bonanzas. If the truth be known, the townsfolk took full advantage of the excellent deals and superb service to be had. But there was one time of the year that everyone stayed out of their way, and that was the week before the Victualers of Ireland's annual Mr. Meat competition.
Do you know what? I could have sworn you said Mr. Meat competitions.
Shut up, you feckless Armadon.
Jesus.
Both Jimmy and Liam trained like men possessed in preparation for the big day. For the last 5 years, they had both ended up in the final, and it had always been a tie. But this year, the rule had to be changed. There was to be no tie, only one overall winner. Both were fully focused, badass butchers on a Mr. Meat mission to reign supreme.
Yeah. But one of them is going to end up disappointed.
Yeah, right. Round 1, the Supreme Sausage. Both scored well on both length and girth. Next up was the Mince Marathon. Jimmy managed an entire cow in under 2 minutes 45 seconds. But Liam was lagging behind, having tail trouble and problems with blunt blades. But Liam still felt confident with the final round, his favourite, the Extreme Hygiene Competition. It was all going very well until the judge discovered, to Liam's horror, a maggot on his sleeve.
Was it a plant?
Liam was sure Jimmy had double-crossed him. He stood on the second place podium with a rage welling up inside. But he didn't let it get the better of him. And to show there were no hard feelings, he gave Jimmy a lift home.
Fair play to him now. Fair play has to be said.
And he would have gotten away with murder.
Huh?
If old Mrs. Flaherty hadn't have bought the black pudding.
What are you shiting on about murder?
The black pudding she bought from Liam's shop the next morning. You see, most people don't bother checking the skin of a black pudding, but Mrs. Flaherty did, as there was something unusual about it. The skin had a very familiar tattoo on it.
It was Jimmy's skin.
Yeah, filled with Mr. Meat 2000.
Please, come here. I hope she didn't buy any sausages.
Very good.
Oh,
what the hell is that stench?
That'd be the pig's arse.
Oh.
Not exactly what you'd call fresh.
Right.
In fact, it almost walked back here by itself.
God, I'm not eating that. That's not fit for human consumption. Give it to Granny.
Oh, I didn't know she was back on solids.
She's not. With any luck, she might choke on it. Whoa! Whoa! Oh, we get overcome with pig stench.
Would you look?
What?
Would you look? It's our old toy box.
Oh, Jesus, so it is.
It's got all the stuff from when we were nippers. When we hadn't even got an arse in our trousers.
Jesus. What's in there then?
Jesus, look. There's your junior stoat trap over there.
Oh, Jesus, there it is.
And there's a bag of broken bottles that Santy brought you.
Oh, the memories, Rodge.
Oh, I tell you
the
what.
memories.
Look, I don't believe it. There's my little boy's pet dissection kit. Where's that cat?
No, Rodge. No.
Oh, look.
What?
The old video tennis game you have.
Oh,
Remember that? Remember
yes.
the old beep, 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 beep. Tell you what, though.
Yeah.
Would have been great if we'd had a telly on.
I know, it would have made a hell of a difference. Oh, look. Is that your magic kit there sticking out?
Ah, Jesus.
Yeah,
what was it, Daddy? What was it Daddy used to call me when I was all dressed in my magician's gear?
Yeah, a little feckin' bastard.
No.
Oh, no, sorry, my mistake. I remember now. A little feckin' magical bastard.
Ah, yeah. Do you know I'd probably have been a great magician all the same.
Do you not remember what Father used to say to you?
Go out and play in that farm machinery.
No, he said, no son of mine'll be a poncy lady man magician. Sure, have you never heard the story of the magical Splendercock? Well, Phileas Splendercock had been a bit down on his luck all his professional life. He was now reduced to playing 3 card tricks on street corners. Then one day, a businessman approached him.
I like the way you perform, Mr. Splendercock,
said the man.
But your talent is wasted on mere sleight of hand. I'd like to make you an offer you can't refuse.
Splendercock looked the man up and down. Piss off, he said.
But you haven't heard my terms, Mr. Splendercock,
replied the man.
I will set you up financially, supply you with an assistant, and if you become the #1 magician in the world, you will come and work exclusively at my venue.
Sounds to me like he'd nothing to lose.
That's what Splendercock thought. So they shook hands and he took a cheque for £1,000. He thought the man was mad. I mean, what a ridiculous offer to make. The next morning there was a knock on his front door. She introduced herself as his new assistant. She was only gorgeous.
Oh, Jesus. Was she wearing one of them sequin thongs that creep up your crevice, and a Shania Twain hairdo, and a plunging bust line that would have her nipples winking out at you, and her touchy-feely
Shut
hands?
up, you feckless gimp! Yes, she was gorgeous, but he soon forgot her looks when he discovered the knowledge she had of every illusion in the book.
Ooh.
For she had worked with all the greats.
Who, David Copperknob? Harry Houdini?
Anyway, she told him to leave all the details to her and enjoy the spotlight. It wasn't long before he started to make a name for himself, and with the guidance of his assistant, he performed the most amazing tricks that not even he could figure out. But he didn't care, as he was becoming famous and the money was rolling in.
You know that assistant one?
Yeah.
Did he ever get to dip his wand in her magic circle? Did he ever get the sword in half? Did she ever swallow the sword?
Shut up! Sure, he had women flocking to him. And in fact, with television appearances and sold-out shows, he was now the #1 magician in the world. You must come now and work for my boss, the assistant said one day. Ah, feck him, said Splendercock. I'm the #1 magician in the world. I work for nobody but myself. The assistant got angry. I will expose you for what you really are, she yelled. Splendercock thought for a moment. Ah, yeah, you're right, love. I did promise your boss I'd work for him, but before I do, there's one last trick that I've always dreamed of doing, he said. He obviously had a plan. He was due to appear live on the Dick Horn TV show that night.
Good show.
Where he would perform an illusion where he would shoot a bullet through 2 panes of glass and his assistant would catch it in her teeth.
Good trick.
Yeah, except Splendercock had put a real bullet in instead of a blank. It is one of those when tricks go wrong scenarios, when only human error would be to blame. And he would retire at the top of his profession with all his money.
Jesus. So the bugger's gonna blow your one's head off?
Yes, thus severing the link between him and her boss. That night he lined up to do the trick, and with no guilt at all, pulled the trigger.
Bam! Click?
Yes, nothing happened. What was going on? He'd loaded the chamber himself. Then he did what every idiot does. He looked down the barrel of the gun and tried the trigger again, and only blew his feckin' head off.
Jesus Christ. Blew his own head off.
Yeah, you see?
He looked down the barrel, that's what I would have done.
That's what
Anyway,
happened.
never mind. I suppose he still got what he wanted, though.
What?
Well, out of contract with the strange fella, the boss man.
No. He ended up working for your man in his place.
He'd blown his feckin' head off.
Yes, but no one breaks a deal with Satan!
You mean he'd done a deal with the Dark Lord?
Yep.
Jesus.
Indeed he had. And poor old Splendercock, he'll be turning tricks in hell for an eternity. Hey, Rodge, come here.
What?
Do you remember this trick? It's the old pencil in the eye trick.
Jesus. That's fierce. That's fierce good all the
You
same.
see?
Yeah,
You
the
didn't
only
see that
thing is
coming.
you'd better call an ambulance, you know, because I can't see anything with the pencil stuck through me brain. There's an awful lot of blood as well. I don't feel best now. It's fierce good. Oh, God, it's the pain. The pain is
be
fierce.
kicking in now. Hello, College of Surgeons, Cadaver Department. Hello, Teddy. Guess who? Good man. Listen, how were those German students for you? Were they? Good man. Listen, we're sending Granny's body over to you. What? Condolences? Not at all. She's not dead yet. You know we wouldn't send you anything that wasn't fresh. Yeah. Oh, very good. Listen, good luck now, Teddy. Bye.
How much so?
Yeah, £8.
Grand, so.
Are you making the tea?
No.
Are you making the tea?
No.
Ah, Jesus, look, if you don't make me the tea, I'll cut you out of me will.
Jesus. Well, I'll cut you out of my will.
What do you own but half a bed?
Sure, what about the manor?
The manor? It's all in my name. Jesus, we can't have gobsheens like you being property owners. You'll only flittle-flattle it away on drinking hooers. God, you know what? You really get to find out the cut of someone's jib when you start messing with wills. Neil Down of Blow Me Industries had a bit of a taxation dilemma.
Oh. They're the company that put the hand dryers into the toilets.
Yep. You see, he hadn't paid a penny tax for 20 years, and now the tax man was demanding everything he owned. But Neil had a master plan. He, his wife, and their best friend, Inspector Bush, Fraser Bush, had developed a scam to defraud the tax man. Neil was going to fake his own suicide, and his wife would pay a reduced tax bill and receive a huge life insurance payment.
So, what did they do so?
Well, Neil Down and Inspector Bush set up a very realistic suicide scene. Neil lay down in a pool of blood and placed his gun near his head. They also bought some special effects, bullet wounds and things like that. It all looked very convincing. And with Mrs. Down's tearful phone call to the police station, the scam was underway. When Inspector Bush's colleagues arrived, they found him already at the scene.
Mrs. Down called me. I'm a friend of the family. I came straight over,
he said.
It's quite obvious what happened here. If you don't mind, I'd like to handle it as a favour to my old friend.
The other policemen left, and a hearse arrived and took a coffin full of potatoes away.
Right, so what was next for our scamsters, so?
Well, as Inspector Bush and Mrs. Down were shedding fake tears as a box of spuds was being buried, Neil Down was on a plane to Rio for part 2 of the plan.
Oh, I know why he went to Rio. He went to Rio to marry a lady man.
Huh?
You know those fellas who are in gender limbo, neither here nor there, but you don't mind all the same.
He literally... You finished?
Right, sorry.
He was literally carving a new identity for himself as he lay down on the surgeon's table and underwent the knife for a complete facial transformation.
And another 5 inches while you're at it, Doctor.
Anyway, it was a slow, expensive process. Took 6 months for the horrific scarring to heal and for his modified larynx to work properly.
Oh, so he had a brand new face and a brand new voice.
Yep. The next stage of the plan was for the new man to return home, have a whirlwind romance with his wife, remarry, and share the spoils of the insurance money with her and his pal, Inspector Bush.
Good scam all the same.
Oh, was it really? What the feck would you know? He rang his wife.
I'm back home, love. Meet me at Enrico's,
he said.
How will I recognize you?
She asked.
Don't worry. I'll be the tall, dark, handsome one that you'll fall in love with all over again.
They laughed together. Down at Enrico's, he spotted his wife sitting at their old table.
Oh, hello, Mrs. Down,
he said. And with that, cops surrounded him.
What?
That's the man who murdered my husband, she shouted.
Don't worry, love. We'll take him downtown and check his prints against the murder weapon.
Murder? What the feck is going on?
While Mr. Down was away for the 6 months, Mrs. Down and her lover, Inspector Bush, had suggested to the authorities that perhaps Mr. Down had been murdered. Inspector Bush had been put in charge of the task force and planted evidence to suggest that Mr. and Mrs. Down were being blackmailed. And when they didn't pay up, Mr. Down was murdered and the scene was rigged by the murderer to look like suicide. And of course, when the fingerprints on the gun matched the new look Mr. Down's, the case was solved.
You see, he should have invested in new fingerprints instead of that extra 5 inches.
Yeah, anyway.
Right, well, I'm off for a bit of kip, so don't annoy me.
Are you making the tea?
No.
Are you making the tea?
No.
Are you making the tea?
No.
Are you making the tea?
Are you making the tea?
No.
Are you making the tea?
No.
Are you making the tea? No. Are you making the tea? No. Are you making the tea? Look, are you making the tea? Hell no. Are you making the tea? N-O. Are you making the tea? No. Are you making the tea? No.
Then what?
And the only thing they found of him was his scrotum, floating down the Liffey River.
Jeez. Oh. That reminds me, you've got me thinking there. There's another thing I don't like, and that's ghosts. No, I don't like them at all.
Hold on a minute. I didn't know you were scared of anything at all.
I didn't say I was scared of them. I just said I don't like them.
Right, so I'm just off to empty the pot.
All right. Yeah. No, I don't like it.
Oh, Jesus!
What?
Some bastard shot me!
Oh, really? Oh, they must have thought you were a ghost or something.
You see, I was trying to scare you.
Oh, no, very good, very good, yeah. Yeah, no, it didn't work, though.
Do you know what I really hate, though?
What do you
really
hate?
them. Feckin' vampires.
Oh, vampires.
Oh, those blood-sucking freaks. Thank God Ireland never had any vampires.
I scorn your ignorance. Ireland was once infested with vampires and all manner of the undead. And it still would be, if it wasn't for the greatest vampire hunter of them all, Glendalough. He had no fear of the vampire, and he and his teenage daughter roamed our Green Isle, purging it of its infestation of the foul undead.
But what was his daughter doing with him?
Well, when she was old enough, she joined him as his assistant, and longed to be as noble a hunter as he was. She helped making wooden stakes, casting silver bullets. She pureed the garlic into a spray, and fashioned crucifixes from holy wood, all that kind of thing. Yeah, they'd get a call from a town in distress, and they arrived at night, and their job would be done by morning.
What sort of places did they get to?
Oh, God, there were many famous sites of unrest. The stories are documented in many history books. From the vampire fireman of Brownlogg's Pass to the beastly boy band of Titstown. From the old folks with fangs from Ballybollock to the killer sheep of Gobbler's Knob.
Killer sheep, did you say?
Oh, yeah. Glendalough and his daughter were vampire-killing machines. But that wasn't till they arrived in the town of Bedwetton for what seemed like another routine slaying.
A vampire hunter's job is never done.
Shut the feck up!
What?
God. Anyway, Glenn was packing his bag with all the tools of his trade for a night of culling when his daughter came in.
Father, I was wondering if you wouldn't mind hunting alone tonight, as the vicar's son has asked me to accompany him on a walk.
She said. Glenn was delighted. He'd always felt that his daughter had seen too much killing and might become desensitized to relationships, as he had, since his wife had passed on. So off he went into the darkness alone, and when he arrived back in the early hours, he found his daughter cowering in the corner.
Daddy, something horrendous has happened.
That's when he saw the puncture wounds on her neck.
Jesus. The vampire vicar's son had stuck his fang in.
Yes. And now the Slayer's daughter was a vampire herself.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Papa. I forgot to bring protection.
she cried. Glenn the Vampire Slayer's world had fallen apart.
Right, so, he killed his beloved daughter. Second tragedy. The end.
No, not quite. For there was another solution to their problem, and that was to kill the original vampire that had started the plague.
Look, if the place was infested with the undead bloodsuckers, then how would he ever find the original vampire?
He knew exactly where to look, for it was he!
Who?
He!
He who?
He!
Oh, he!
Yes, Glenn Dallock, the legendary vampire hunter, was also in fact the kingpin vampire. You see, when he was younger, he came to Ireland and went on a blood-sucking spree, creating undead all over the country. But one night, he met a mortal, and love changed his evil ways. They had a daughter, but his wife passed away prematurely, and then he became the vampire hunter to rid this country of his creations. And now what he had to do was slay himself. For when you kill the original of the species, the vampire curse is lifted from the bloodline. So he lay down with a tear in his eye, helped his daughter force a stake through his own heart, ridding our country of the curse of the vampire once and for all.
Yeah. Just something now. If we're supposed to be rid of the curse of the vampires, then how come your one Enya is still making records?
Jeez, you've got me there, I don't know. Oh, come here!
What?
There's another thing that really gets the shits up me.
A burst colon?
No! Werewolves!
Oh, you don't like werewolves,
oh, God, I hate them.
Oh, right,
I do.
Do you know
really
what?
hate werewolves.
I have to go out for a second.
What?
Yeah, I have to hoover the dog. I have to hoover the dog.
Right.
I'll be back there in a minute.
Right.
Right, so, see you later. I'm a scary werewolf. Oh, shite.
You big idiot.
Right, so that's me. Sadie's waiting for me outside in the car. Well, I better go.
You have a great week, so.
Oh, I will.
Have you clean underwear?
Huh? So why would I need underwear? So I'm going for a week of unbridled lust with Sadie.
The pain.
Huh?
Oh, jeez, that's all the pain.
Yikes.
Oh.
What's wrong with you?
Oh, jeez, it's just me old ticker.
What's wrong with your heart?
The Dr. Flaccid said it could back in at any time, and I didn't want to tell you in case you wouldn't go on your trip.
Well, I'll tell you what, Podge. I'd love to stay and watch you die. But I've got me suitcase packed and all, you know.
A suitcase, is it? God, that reminds me of a most unusual tale.
Really?
Involving Ireland's most notorious career criminal.
Oh, right.
Yeah. He was simply known as the Banana.
The Banana? Did the ladies give him that name, huh?
No, you gobsheen. The cops gave it to him, as he was the slipperiest character, always evading them. The cops knew he had his finger in many pies.
Banoffee.
Huh?
You know, the banana pie. Banoffee.
Shut the feck up! Anyway, after many years of giving two fingers to the authorities, the Banana had his first slip-up, so to speak. He found out through his contacts that a warrant was being prepared for his arrest after a fingerprint was discovered at the scene of a recent bank raid. The Banana knew he had to leave the country, and fast. But he also knew his photo would be at every airport and seaport in Ireland and around the world. The Banana was on Interpol's most wanted list.
Along with the grape and the mandarin.
But he had the mother of all plans. He was going to get out of the country in more ways than one.
What do you mean?
The first part of his plan was to track down Ireland's top plastic surgeon, Professor Sean Slither.
That fella was barred because of the gargle.
He was. But despite his drink problem, he was doing a roaring trade, performing underground surgery. The banana hooked up with him and discussed his radical plan. And even in his drunken state, Professor Slither was shocked at what Banana had proposed.
What the hell did he want with the surgeon? Oh, he wasn't after one of them lady men operations to turn you into the woman you always wanted to be.
No. He wanted the professor to saw both his arms and legs off, pack them in liquid nitrogen, place them in suitcases, and finally pack his torso in the largest carry-on suitcase size permitted by the airlines.
It's madness,
said the professor.
No, it's me only way out,
shouted the banana.
Now listen carefully, you fecker. Me arms and legs will go in the hold, and you'll carry me on the plane. And when we arrive in Switzerland, you'll sew me back together, and the authorities will never suspect a thing.
The professor wouldn't even consider such a high-risk procedure, but for 200 grand, he could buy a lot of booze.
So he did it.
It was a long and bloody procedure. It took the best part of a day to carefully remove all 4 limbs, trying not to sever nerve ends or shatter bones.
Oh, Jesus.
He stuck the arms and legs in their cases and the now limbless banana in a carry-on case and made straight for the airport. It all went extremely smoothly until he was stopped by security.
Oh, shite.
We'd like to see the contents of your case, sir,
said the security guard.
Oh, Jesus. The jig was up.
Not quite, Rodge. You see, the banana had thought this might happen, so he'd prepared some bogus documentation.
I'm afraid that's not possible,
said the professor.
I'm transporting a human heart for an operation I'm performing in Zurich.
The guard backed down and gave him priority clearance straight to the plane.
Come here, what if your man in the suitcase needed to take a slash?
Oh, they'd thought of everything.
Jesus.
A couple of hours later, they landed in Zurich. The customs people bought the old heart story, and the professor picked up the limb luggage and made straight for the seedy hotel to perform the reconstructive microsurgery. The banana was delighted to get out of his claustrophobic prison. The professor prepped him for surgery, and it was now or never, as the limbs would have thawed out. The professor opened the bags, and to his utter horror, found that they contained nothing but clothes. He picked up the wrong shagging cases. He got straight onto the bellboy.
Get up here fast!
Oh, he must have wanted him to run out to the airport to collect the cases.
No, the bellboy wouldn't be doing much running with his arms and legs missing.
Jesus.
Time had almost run out for the banana, so the professor had opted for the fresh limb option.
Jesus.
What was left of the bellboy was sitting in the bathtub in a pool of his own blood. Meanwhile, the professor got his cash, and the banana was so delighted that his plan had worked out, he didn't even notice that he was 3 inches taller and had a tattoo of Bon John Bovey on his arm.
John Bon Bovey, the fella with the lady hair.
Yes, that's the
fella with the lady hair. That's the fella.
A good story, then.
Oh, jeez, hang on. Is there something I'm supposed to be doing?
No, listen, I have another story for you. I have another story, listen up.
Oh, no, I couldn't take another
these
story.
2 brothers. They lived in the back of nowhere. One was a handsome fella, the other was a gobshite.
I think I've heard this one before.
Yes, they lived with their
somewhere.
granny
Sounds
in the middle of
familiar.
nowhere in an old mansion and... sleeping like a corpse. Shh. Ruffle me hair up, talk shite for the whole weekend. She'll never tell us apart. And then again, maybe she will. Coming, darling. Blah, blah, blah. I'm a big feckin' Egypt.
64, 65, 70, 81, 82, 83, and we're at the top of the stairs. Oh, dirty cat, jeez. Get off. Now, how's it going, bollocks? Tell you what, I think I'm in with Drina from the mobile library.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, we're going to step out on a date.
You do know
how
what
it goes.
You do know what they call her.
Yeah, a librarian.
No, you feckless gimp. Drina the Drainer. 'Cause she's only after your money.
Money? Well, I don't have any money.
Well, then she's after my money.
What money have you got?
Me inheritance. Inheritance.
What? Inheritance?
Oh, yeah.
You mean Mummy and Daddy are dead?
Yeah, 15 years ago. I didn't want to distress you.
Oh, thanks. I was wondering why the bastards never called round. How did they die?
You had one of your sleep slaughter attacks and killed them.
Oh, right. Anyway, as far as I'm concerned, Drina can drain me anytime.
It's you and your one-way infatuations. They'll get you nowhere, you know. Like poor Pat McShaft. He worked in his parents' tea shop, the Friendly Bun, which was frequented by the local students from a nearby medical college. He was a simple enough idiot, painfully shy but with a good heart. But the poor fellow was infatuated with a girl who was way out of his league. Her name was Clodagh Svelte, a final year student and the prettiest and most intelligent girl in the entire school.
You know what they say, Podge. Every yin has its yang.
What the feck does that mean?
I don't know, it just sort of sounded good.
Despite her beauty and smarts, she was a manipulative bitch.
Oh, Pat, I'm so hot. Do you think you could open the window a little for me?
She'd say. And as he opened the window for her, she accidentally on purpose poured scalding tea down the front of his trousers.
Oh, Jesus. Hot toddy.
But despite the little bits of abuse, he would do anything for her.
Gobsheen. Surely, though, if she was such a hot catch, she'd be stepping out with a fella, you know.
Oh, she was. He was another student and college hunk, Steve Frontal, into GAA and the like. He only encouraged the slagging of poor Pat.
Jesus, Pat, every time we're shagging, she calls out your name.
He'd say, and they'd all break their shite laughing at Pat's expense.
The poor, pathetic Gobsheen.
Yeah, a bit like yourself. Anyway, the finals were fast approaching, and Pat hadn't seen much of the students. But one day, Clodagh arrived in, looking more beautiful than ever. She ordered a coffee and then burst into tears. Pat ran over to see if she was okay.
Oh, Pat, I've broken up with Steve. It's all over. I know I've been so cruel to you over the years. But it was just peer pressure.
She cried.
It's you I really love.
He couldn't believe it.
Jesus.
All his dreams had come true.
Meet me in the gym tonight.
She told him as she ran out the door.
Jesus.
That night he arrived into a darkened gym.
Yeah?
Oh, I'm completely naked, Pat. I want you so bad,
said Clodagh.
Take off your clothes and join me in a naked embrace, darling.
She purred. And just as Pat was pulling his knickers off, the lights blasted on. As Clodagh, her boyfriend Steve Frontal, and their gang fell about in convulsions of laughter. Pat ran off in tears. The ultimate humiliation.
Poor bastard. But, Podge,
What?
I did see it coming.
Oh, you did you? Anyway, the next morning, Clodagh was doing her final exam. The examiner spoke.
All right, everyone. This is your anatomy exam, which will pass or fail you. It's the accumulation of 8 years of so-called study. Please begin the operations.
on the cadavers.
As the examiner pulled back the shroud of one of the bodies, a number of Clodagh's friends fainted.
What?
It was Pat from the coffee shop's fresh corpse.
Jesus.
He had committed suicide. But the callous bitch wasn't even fazed. She wasn't going to let this gullible idiot ruin her career, so she turned back to another of the examining tables, completely focused, only to be confronted by the totally mutilated body of her boyfriend, Steve.
What?
Yep. Pat had snapped, slaughtered her boyfriend before carving his own heart out. That was too much for Clodagh, and she reeled back on the slippery floor and cracked her head on the slab behind. Shocking.
Hey, come here, so.
What?
Fancy a monkey tongue sandwich, do you?
Oh, très exotique, my friend. And a packet of cheese and onion on the side.
Oh, absolutely, on the silver salver for you, I can tell you.
Ah, you're a good man, you're a good man.
Yeah. Now, let's see. The tin says 1932.
Oh, pre-war, good vintage. And scrape off the mould. And no crusts on mine. Right. Hello, I'm Rodge. A big feckin' Egypt, that's what I am. Oh no, I'm Rodge.
Is this thing finished, this body outline thing?
Grand. Crime scene completed. Save the guards a bit of time.
Do I have to dress up like some hooer's pimp?
Wait, shut up, you gobsheen. You're supposed to be me.
Yeah, but can you explain to me why I'm supposed to be you?
Look. Stab Kennedy caught me with me pants down with Mrs. Stab.
Oh, so you were hosing someone else's lawn, were you?
Well. He's coming round to slaughter me tonight, so you're me.
That's hardly fair now.
Look, you owe me, and I'm calling in the favour.
How do I owe you?
I gave you me black pudding this morning, didn't I?
Jesus, payback's a bitch. Is there no other way out of this?
Well, you could run away with a freak show.
Right enough. Looking like this, I'd fit in.
Feckin' ha. The freak show is some people's only refuge, you know. Lonely people. People who society have shunned. Just because they're a bit, well, freaky, you know.
Like what?
Well, the Busby and McMahon Travelling Theatre of the Grotesque was home of Ireland's A-list freaks. There was the man with the enormous arse, the girl with the hairy arms, the elephant man, Brian Adams' face, and the incredible two-headed boy.
Two-headed boy, did you say?
Well, in fact, he wasn't really a two-headed boy. They were twins, Wayne and Dwayne, who were tragically born joined down the side, with only one heart between them. God, they were hardly boys anymore, though, as they'd been travelling all their lives in the freak show, displayed for people's curiosity.
Sure, I suppose. What else could a two-headed boy do?
You're right. But they still had their dreams, you know. Wayne wanted to be a pilot, and Dwayne wanted to be a doctor. And when they weren't on the show, they both studied to better themselves. And despite their affliction, there was only one thing that really got them down. The town of Cock Norris.
Sure, listen. A town with no chipper is a town with no soul.
Shut up, you feckless rogue. It was in the town of Cock Norris that three little bastards lived. Morris McGinty, Loppy Kiernan, and Eddie Hole. And every year, when the freak show arrived, they would go down with only one thing on their mind: to take the almighty piss out of the two-headed boy and make the freak's life a misery.
Look at the pair of headbangers.
Headbangers! They'd shout.
2 arses are better than one.
Oh, 2 arses.
2 arses.
They'd taunt. The little bullies thought they were hilarious. What?
2 arses are better than one. Very troll.
Shut up, you arseache. You see, being part of a freak show, you'd expect a bit of slagging. But this was a tirade of abuse. For 8 years, these 3 gobsheens had religiously terrorised the twins. And even with the greatest of willpower, their one heart was beginning to break. The following year, the show arrived as usual, and Morris, Loppy and Eddie were looking forward to a good week at Taunton. They were met by Mr. Busby, one of the owners. Get the feck out of our way! We're here to see the abomination that should have been thrown back! Eddie shouted.
Yous won't be seeing them, lads. They hung each other this morning. But, I'll tell yous what. Since yous are such good customers over the years, I'll bring yous in and show yous the body.
Did they go with them?
Of course they did. They couldn't resist one last poke at the freak. There was the body, laid out backstage. The 3 nervously went up for a closer look. And that's when Wayne and Dwayne pounced on them.
Jesus!
We have yous now! Said the twins.
Was it a trick?
Yeah.
For revenge?
Oh, it was much more than that.
Tell us. Tell us.
Mr. Busby stepped on the stage the next evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Busby and McMahon Travelling Theatre of the Grotesque present to you the most astounding medical oddity you will ever see. Let me present to you the 3-headed boy.
Jesus, the 3 Egypts.
You see, all that medical studying had paid off for Dwayne. He managed to stitch the boys crudely together, but only after first removing some limbs and one vital organ.
A heart?
Yep. Wayne and Dwayne were now only twins in mind, no longer twins in body. Each now free to follow their own hearts.
There you are. Jesus! Who the feck is that?
Oh, that'll be Stab Kennedy to kill you. Oh, geez. Hello, Stab, this is Rodge, yes. Oh, it's shocking there, Podge, doing that with your wife and all that. The voice you're hearing is Rodge. Yes, kill him, the other fella. Yeah, I'll keep... Oh, God. I suppose that'll be it over now. Turn the lights. Well, I'll miss him. He was an ignorant bollocks, but me brother nonetheless. I think... Oh, good man. You dispatched with Stab. Very good. Fair play to you.
Make the call.
Right so. The call. Hello, colostomy meats. Podge here from the manor. Yeah, we have a carcass for collection. Yeah. £15 is yours. 3 a.m. Yeah, we'll be waiting. Good man there, Rodge, if you're in there. Can you hear me, Rodge?